Pop quiz, gents. How long have men been wearing boots? 2, 3, 4, 500 years? Maybe 1,000 years, right? If that's your guess, gents, you are way off. Try 15,000 years. Yeah, guys, ancient history. If you go back to these cave drawings over in Spain, they clearly depict men wearing boots. Now, it's safe to say those first boots were all about function. And when you're buying boots, that is the first thing you should look for. But fashion is a fast follower, so don't be afraid to go get something that looks good. Roman emperors, they knew that. That's why they had boots that were styled and looked good. And this was something that only those in charge, only those with money could wear. In today's video, gents, we're talking about boot styles, what to wear them with, and how to find the perfect pair for you. So the first style I'm going to share with you is the dress boot. Now, the history of this boot goes way back before work boots were even common. Let's go back to the Napoleonic Wars. There was this guy, Gebhard von Blücher, and he fought Napoleon, and he came up with this great idea. You know what? My troops are moving really slow. They need better shoes. They need boots. And so he created what's known as the open lacing system. And it seems pretty simple, but the back part of the shoe, the vamp, was thrown on top of the front part of the shoe, the quarter. What that did is it made shoes a lot easier to make. So why does that matter? Because I wanted to be clear that this boot right here didn't evolve from work boots necessarily. They both evolved from a common ancestor of the military boot. Now, don't get confused. The dress boot, even though it has dress in its name, isn't really something you would ever wear with a suit, but it is something you can wear with odd trousers. It is something that you can wear definitely with jeans. It's something that's going to be rugged, tough. This is just a great looking piece of footwear that's going to last in your wardrobe. They're oftentimes going to have either a Goodyear welt or a Blake stitch, or you're going to occasionally see them glued out there. Point being is you want to go for something a little bit tougher. This pair right here is going to have a Goodyear welt. It makes for something that can also be resoled. Basically, that's where they come in, and they can replace the bottom if you wear it out. Now, with dress boots versus work boots, what we're going to see is they're going to use a more refined leather. This is going to usually be a leather with less blemishes. It's going to one that can take a shine. But overall, the lack of a cap toe, just that sleek overall design, makes this a good-looking, very versatile dress boot. Now, this pair right here, very similar to that last pair, except notice right here, we've got the cap toe. The cap toe, an additional layer. Initially, cap toes evolved because they were going to protect the front part of the shoe. I still think that they look really nice, but they do make the shoe a little bit more casual. Now, how can you tell how formal a boot is or how informal it is? The casualness of a boot can oftentimes be determined by the color and the style features. So the most formal of colors is going to be black. As you get lighter in color, in general, that's going to be more casual of a boot. Now, the style details do make a difference. When we look at this boot right here, what do we notice? Notice those eyelets. So right here, we've got basically these hook eyelets. These are going to make the boot more casual. Hook eyelets evolved from hikers, from the military. Now, the other type of eyelet we're going to see right here, if that went farther up, it would be a little bit more formal of a boot. But also, look at that sole. Not only the thickness of the sole, but the type of sole that we have here. That's a little bit heavier, and that right there is going to make this boot in general a casual boot. Compare that with this boot right here. It's going to be a little bit darker. We've got this gray. In addition, we've got a little bit thinner of a sole. When we get down here and we look at the bottom, we see we've just got a regular rubber traction with a Goodyear welt on it. And then right up here, we've got the more closed eyelets. This right here is going to be a more formal boot. That being said, this boot right here is going to be more formal than either of them because it's in black. Even though it has the hook eyelets, I would say it's the overall style that really makes this thing more formal. Now, gents, really quick, all the boots you're seeing in today's video are brought to you by our sponsor, Thursday Boots. I've talked about Thursday Boots for years. I've worn them for years. I'm wearing them right now because I love this company and what they represent. It's all about getting you high quality boots at an affordable price. I also love how they're always coming out with new styles. Beautiful styles, because they don't just look good on the outside. On the inside, they're great quality. From the leather that they're using in the upper, to the way that they build the sole, to the way that they connect the sole with the upper using a Goodyear welt. One of my favorite collections right now, the Logger. If you haven't checked out these boots, they're brand new over on their website. You want to get over there. What I like about this, first up, is the quality of the leather in the upper. This is thick. heavier leather. These boots are going to last forever. They went with a very durable, right here, they're using Vibram soles. If you're not familiar, these are basically top of the line soles that are pretty much going to last forever. They are a steal for the price you can get them at and the quality. That being said, these new wingtips I just picked up, these are sick. Seriously, I mean, just the contrast. I like how they got this pebbled leather right in here. Just absolutely beautiful. These guys are doing amazing things. This pair of boots, the first pair I ever got from them, 5 years old. These boots are still holding up. Gents, if you can't tell, I love Thursday Boots, an amazing company making comfortable boots at an affordable price. Go look at all the different selections. Use that link down in the description. Go check them out. Next up, let's talk about work boots. Cousin of dress boots, same ancestor, but still a different type of boot. And when we go and we look at a pair of work boots, first up, it's about function and protection. And this is where really, what do you need for your job? Because if it's something that you could drop something on your toe, you want to make sure you got a steel toe. If it's going to be something that you're going to be on an oily surface, you want to make sure you've got basically a non-slip type of shoe that is made specifically to be able to deal with oil. There's a wide variety of different work boots out there, and you want to make sure you have the right tool for the job. That being said, the vast majority of work boots out there are going to go a little bit higher up past the ankle because they want to not only give you support, but they want to be able to give you protection. Now, when it comes to work boots, I really think it's better to pay a bit more and get exactly what you need. And you do want to look for something that can be resold. Basically, boots that can be repaired, because this is a tool, this is something that you want to make sure you've got the right pair. Work boots, because of their very nature, are going to be some of the most casual boots out there. Even in black, they are going to be casual, but I really like dark brown. When it comes down to it, get the one that works for you. A lot of people just simply like something that doesn't take the stains, something that is going to last them. So find the right pair. And again, don't be afraid to spend good money to get that pair. Next up, we've got Brogue boots. Very distinctive because of the perforations in the leather. These are small holes that are decorative nowadays in nature, but historically they went all the way through. Why would you want that? Well, imagine you're going through a marsh, you've got water up to your midsection, and you step out of that marsh. Guess what? All of a sudden the water is just going to come right out of the shoes. That's initially what they were for. Nowadays, again, they don't go through. They are there for design, and I think they add a lot of texture. They really make the shoes look unique. Now, if you're familiar with brogues, you know that there are 4 styles. There are quarter brogues, there are semi-brogues, there are full brogues, and then there are long wing brogues. Right here, we've got a full brogue. It's going down like this, covers the entire front part of the shoe. Another small detail I want to point out, look at the lacing. Look at those eyelets. The eyelets in general are going to be smaller. That lacing is going to be using a dress shoe lace. So all that combined with the overall look makes these some of the most formal boots you can get. Now, what about boots that you could actually wear with a suit? Well, in general, you don't want to wear boots with a suit unless there is inclement weather. And then Chelsea's are a great option. Overall, this is a great style, very simple boot. It was made popular in the 1950s and 60s. This is the perfect traveler shoe. If you're going to be going in and out of an airport, you want something that's going to slip on and off. Guys, that is the beauty of the Chelsea boot. Now, lighter colored Chelseas are going to be more casual, but I still think that they work great and the contrast looks good, especially when going with jeans or a variety of odd trousers. That being said, black in leather are going to be the most formal. This right here in a suede is fun, but it is going to be a bit more casual. Next up, we've got the ankle boot. Distinctive because it only goes up to the ankle in terms of height. And let's look at those eyelets. Right there, we've only got 5 eyelets. On a dress shoe, you're oftentimes going to see 5 eyelets. So this right here, because of the style, because of the design, in my opinion, a hybrid between shoes and boots. I think that you can actually dress this up, and with the right style, you could even wear it with a suit. How would you do that? Well, first up, you'd have to look at the style. Right here, we've got an open lacing system, so I think that this is going to be more casual. Maybe if this was in black and it had a closed lacing system, but this pair right here, I'd say definitely with a pair of odd trousers, maybe gray flannels with a sports jacket would be an easy thing to pull off. And overall, the design is a darker, we've got a pebbled leather, so that would play into as well. Maybe if we had a darker, just plain leather that didn't have as much texture, it would be a little bit more formal. But you can see how all this goes into play, and I think it's a very versatile boot for someone maybe that has a lot of shoes, doesn't really own any boots, and you want to have a transition into the world of boots. This would be a great option for you. Next up, we've got another ankle boot, the Chukka. But this one right here has its own distinct style, and this goes back to World War II. So you had these British military officers that were over in Cairo, and they wanted a desert boot, something that could deal with the heat, still give them a bit of support, something that they could, move around in. And so the Chukka was born. When you look at the modern day Chukka, what do we notice? Again, it's going to go up about to the ankle, but it also has a lacing system, usually 2 to 3, sometimes 4 eyelets, but about 2 to 3 on average. You've got a contrast here. That is going to make it more casual, the contrast between the sole and the upper right here, but we can still have fun. I've got this blue suede right here, blue suede shoes, right? You've got that dark sole mixed with the blue suede on top, a little bit fun. Chukkas are a classic boot. They are going to be more casual. They work great with jeans, maybe some odd trousers and a sweater, but I would be careful bringing these in with a formal jacket. Next up, we've got the moccasin boot. A lot of people think invented by the hipster. Not true. This thing has been around for hundreds of years, especially in Native American culture. It's been decorative. It was oftentimes made from deerskin. Nowadays, I think the moccasin is a great option, especially for men that spend a lot of time on their feet. And it really comes down to the design of the toe box, because right here, instead of it having one piece of leather that goes over, we've got another piece of leather that's attached. This causes basically a raised toe box. It gives naturally more room right here in the front of the foot. So this is going to be, in my opinion, one of the most comfortable types of boots out there. Now, because of its design and overall nature, this is going to be one of the more casual boots out there. But if, let's say, you work on your feet, you can find maybe a work boot in this style that's got maybe a steel toe. Or if you just simply, you spend a lot of time hiking, you want something without a heel. That's another key thing about moccasin boots, is they don't have the heel. So this is going to give you a little bit more traction on the ground. This is a great option whether you live in an urban environment or you're out, in the middle of nowhere. Personally, I think moccasins look great with any type of denim. You can even dress them up with odd trousers and chinos, but I would be careful wearing them with dress slacks and definitely not a suit. Next up, we've got jump boots. We've got military boots. These are functional boots that serve a purpose. So the history on military boots, especially jump boots, is that they needed to be able to give the guy support whenever he's jumping out of a perfectly good airplane, and you want to make sure that his ankles don't get messed up. That's the purpose of jump boots. It goes higher up on the leg, and it provides a nice tight support around there. Two other specific features I want to talk about with the jump boot. You're going to have a padded top right here for comfort just with the height of the boot. You want to make sure it's something that it's going to be comfortable on the foot, and the sole is usually going to be a bit thicker when compared to the combat boot. So the combat boot, it gets a lot of great press, but here's the thing. If you've ever served in the military, you know that combat boot was produced by the lowest bidder, and it's relatively an inexpensive boot. So the soles are going to be thinner when compared to a jump boot. We're also going to find that the leather across the board is just going to be, not the highest quality. Combat boots, really a simple design, and in my opinion, one that, I always upgraded my boots whenever I got the chance. Next up, we've got the Wellington Boot. So initially, these were riding boots. They were made popular by the first Duke of Wellington. And this guy actually, it was really big. This was a fashion trend. Everyone wanted to have these boots. They were expensive. Nowadays, when you go look at Wellingtons, what do we see? We see a waterproof boot, oftentimes made from rubber, that has still a unique style, but it's still a very functional boot, especially if you're going to be out in the outdoors, you're going to be dealing with really wet weather. This is still a good option. Even though this boot seems ultra casual, you can actually wear this with decently nice clothing, especially if you're a gentleman going to go out hunting or you simply need something that's functional. Next up, you've got the Western boot, also known as the cowboy boot. You're going to see this in Canada. You're going to see this down in Mexico. You're going to see this in regional parts of the United States. I have to say, growing up in West Texas, this is a very functional boot, and it makes sense why it's still around. Because if you're riding a horse and you fall off your horse, you're not going to get dragged to your death by your horse because this boot is going to slip right off. And it's a functional piece of workwear, and that's why it's, to this day, still survives. Now, there are different types of Western boots out there. Ropers are going to be the more common ones. They don't have as much of a heel. They're usually going to have a rubber base. The ones that have the leather down at the bottom, these are going to be more ones that are for getting up in the saddle or more for show. A lot of people just simply like to dance, so you want to get a pair of boots with the leather at the bottom. Just a very comfortable boot, and I think has a lot of character. Next up, we've got the Jodhpur Boot, another boot with a riding history. This one not as old as the Western Boot. 1920s India. We saw this actually being used in polo, and it was a relatively short Chelsea boot that was modified. Usually did have some type of strap going around it that would basically keep it on the feet. Nowadays, I really like these because they look like the boots that a rock star would wear, right? I mean, when I look at the green suede, I just, can imagine one of the Beatles pulling this thing off. Or maybe this one right here with the dark chocolate brown, got a little bit of hardware right here. Maybe Harry Styles, Eric Clapton. I could see them pulling this thing off. Now, gents, I know you got an opinion. I want to hear from you down in the comments. What is your favorite style of boots? And if you want to learn more, down in the description of today's video, I'm linking over to an article at Real Men Real Style in which I go into a lot more detail about all the different types of boots. There were some I didn't cover in today's video, and I talk about how to make the best purchasing decision for you when you're out there looking for those perfect pair of boots. And what video to watch next? How about why boots are better than shoes? Seriously, I give you 7 reasons why you should invest in your boot collection and skip over shoes. Because I mean, I love shoes, but boots, I love a little bit more. Find out why, guys, in this video right here.